To me, I do. Maybe I'm just suffering from optimism bias. I don't know what's going on, but I do think New Orleans is like a little better than people give them credit for. I think they're a tough defensive team. Obviously, if Zion is genuinely healthy, they will be a problem. I don't. You cannot stop Zion from getting to the rim. I don't think anybody's ever proven that they can do that. And he's not only explosive, but he's subtly like kind of shifty. Like he has like a couple gears he can go to, and at his size and power, it's just completely insane. If you add Zion to a hard nosed like defensive team that rebounds well and tries not to make mistakes, basically, it's they're going to be a tough night for anybody. So, but as far as previewing the Knicks game, to me, the key to me is Valanciunas. So first of all, Valanciunas can space the floor. Like not only is he a legit offensive issue like on the block, but he has shot around or better than league average on low volume, but threes for his entire career. And then his real strength, obviously, which we saw on full display during the FIBA World Cup this summer, is probably the best rebounder in the game. Besides a guy like a specialist like Andre Drummond who doesn't play like real minutes. But as far as like his percentages, Valanciunas' like rebounding percentages, they would suggest he's the best rebounder in the game. I don't think that's all that it comes down to. Like it's about boxing out and making sure that your team gets rebounds that they wouldn't have otherwise were you not on the court. But we saw in the World Cup, this guy is going to get rebounds. Like somewhere or somehow he's going to box out. He's going to get rebounds. I think this is another huge test for Mitch in the Knicks to work on the Knicks work on the offensive boards. Valanciunas does not allow offensive rebounds. He does not allow offensive rebounds. Like he just, the Pelicans have been a top defensive rebounding team since he's been there. And here, this is just a game where I think the Knicks are going to have to be efficient on offense instead of just relying on, extra chances on the offensive end. So, that's one thought. And then just my other thought is that I think the Knicks can exploit CJ McCollum. I think they're going to try to hide him on Grimes, and we are going to need Grimes to be in attack mode and make them pay, not only by hitting shots, but to show us what he can do attacking closeouts, because people always talk about the shooting, but Grimes can attack closeouts. He's an amazing finisher. Like this dude really shot, I'm looking at it right now. He shot 70% from the rim last year. And, that's the 97th percentile for guards. Like obviously it's on low volume. It's not like he's getting like lobs and transition buckets. I mean, he was getting some transition buckets, but not like all of it. He can genuinely finish at the rim. Like we've seen him finish contested shots at the rim, and he's reliable at finishing at the rim. Of course, he's not going to like dunk over you or anything like that, but he's reliable at finishing at the rim. So I'm looking for him to attack closeouts, and kick out or make the interior pass that he loves doing. He loves making those interior passes when he collapses, or to just finish at the rim. So to me, it's like the player to look out for against the Pelicans on the offensive end is Grimes, and on the defensive end is really to worry about to see how Mitch holds up as far as like rebounding.
The at New Orleans game is going to just be special to me for a long time, because this is just a quick anecdote. Nobody got to play the World Series of Poker in 2020 because of COVID. And then in 2021, it was postponed until the winter. So it usually takes place in Las Vegas during the summer, and it took place during November in 2021, which is really weird. And I was so excited to be back. Like I hadn't played poker in over 2 years. I don't really play full time anymore. So the World Series is pretty much the only chance I get to play poker, see old friends, reconnect with people. And I sat down at the table and had literally pregame jitters. Like I was just like, oh man, we're back in the arena, yada, yada. And then RJ Barrett had the best game of his career. And I just sat there and watched on my phone at New Orleans. It was the same day that I played my first event. And I literally sat down at the table and I was talking to everybody. And then for 2 hours, I was just consumed by this Knicks Pelicans random regular season game in 2021, 2022. And for people who don't remember, RJ didn't just put up good numbers. He was hitting step back threes. He was walking into threes off of screens. it was like we were watching a leap right there. And it felt like, holy shit, is this going to happen all season? Like, is this what, because it was still early in the season and it was like, oh my God, like this, it's finally happening, you know? And I'll just always remember that feeling. Nobody cared. I mean, that's as, you know, anecdotal as I'll get. This matchup specifically, you hit the nail on the head on a lot of things. I do want to push back a little bit again about the Valanciunas part. I agree that he is like, from a body standpoint, like just someone who's huge and like maybe kind of offers something that could bother Mitch. He was bad last season, like really bad. If you just
What do you
look
mean
at
overall, or you mean against the Knicks?
no, just like his impact overall last season was not good in
Yeah.
any sense.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Which
did
was an
that.
outlier. It was an outlier year for him. But yeah, you're
Okay.
right.
Yeah. He's also older, so he could just be, you know, getting worse. I guess, look, I'm open to the idea that Jonas is just massive and that's gonna block Mitch's path to offensive rebounds and that's gonna hurt the Knicks offense. I think that's sound analysis. I also just wouldn't go into this game being like, if we can't stop Jonas Valanciunas from getting us off the boards, like if we can't beat Jonas Valanciunas, I worry about other things with regards to the Knicks, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I just don't know what the Pelicans are doing. Like I look at this roster and I look at this team, and everyone always likes to joke about how the Knicks are in purgatory, which is the weirdest thing ever. Because if you just put the facts of the Knicks roster and nothing else, like if you just put the Thunder on the jerseys, everyone would just be like, "Oh my God, Sam Presti's a genius! Second round with the youngest playoff roster. Oh my God, like this, all these draft picks. They have all their draft picks. Like it would just be." But it's the Knicks, so people are like, "Oh yeah, they're in purgatory. They can't win a championship this year." It's
Listen, that's so true. Like what you just said is so true. Like if Sam Presti was the GM and it was like in a small market, it would be like they're crushing it. Like look at they're already a 50+ win team and they have all their picks. It's ridiculous. And they have young players that are still developing. They haven't even met their ceiling yet. They could go any which way and reach an unbelievable height. But because it's the Knicks, it's like, what are they doing? They're in purgatory. That's such a great point. It's silly.
Gotta trade for Karl Anthony Towns. Five firsts, Emmanuel Quickly and RJ Barrett. Gotta do that because we're in purgatory. What the fuck, man? God.
Silly.
But I really don't know what the Pelicans are doing. And this just highlights like how stupid it is, because everybody talks about how great David Griffin is. But like Leon, are we sure Leon's the guy? He's no David Griffin. There's no rhyme or reason to their roster. I've never really been super high on Brandon Ingram. I guess I'm not like a big bag guy, you know, like hey, people love to fawn over to like, oh, look at what he can do from 18 feet. But like the overall impact has never really been there. I don't know how much of that is his fault on the Pelicans specifically, because they haven't dabbled too much in him being a small ball four. Like I could actually see in the right scenario him having a 2012-2013 Melo season, because he's actually a better passer than Melo was in that season, and he's an incredibly skilled offensive player. So if you put, everybody loves to talk about Dyson Daniels, and it's just another area where people, God, I could rant about how biased people are against the Knicks. So if Dyson Daniels was on the Knicks, do you know how big a joke the idea that he's this great young player would be? Nobody would talk about it. But him and Trey Murphy, like if you put him, Trey Murphy, and I guess they don't really have much. I mean, they have McCollum. I don't love the McCollum fit, that's kind of what I'm talking about. But I guess like if they ran a lineup of like McCollum, Trey Murphy, Daniels, Ingram, and a rim protecting center, I think that Ingram could be unlocked in a way that I don't think he's been allowed to be in New Orleans.
I want to say also about Ingram is like, I know we're obviously in 2023 and we got, Josh Hart's going to be playing the 4 and RJ Barrett's going to be playing the 4. And I love it. I'm obviously all about it. Brandon Ingram is like 190 pounds. He's like 6'9", 190 pounds. Like if anybody's going to have an issue as far as like their size and playing the 4, it's probably going to be him. So I don't know. Maybe that's why they haven't explored it, but I think it's worth a shot. I agree with you, but yeah, that would be a concern to be like 6'9", 6'10", 190 pounds. It's a little bit too light there. I think maybe potentially we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess my ideal team setting is always going to be a 4+1, or a 5+0 in the sense of having Porzingis or like an
I agree
actualized
with you.
Miles
I agree
Turner.
with you. Yeah, yeah, we're fully
Um,
in agreement on that. I want just to be clear for listeners, I want 1 through 12 to be shooters. Like
yeah,
I want zero non-shooters is what I want.
yeah. And I just think the way, so to me, if you say I think Brandon Ingram is too small to be a power forward, you're going to look for someone bigger at power forward. It's really hard to find someone bigger than Brandon Ingram who can also shoot and space the floor. Those players are really rare. Like if you could get
No,
like,
it's just the weight I'm talking about. So like at 190 is like extremely light. You know what I mean? Like CJ McCollum is 190. Like even RJ
yeah,
is heavier, Hart is heavier. I think all those guys can hold up like boxing. I'm just talking about like boxing out guys. It's like not really about being tall or anything like that. Like I think
yeah.
if
So
he's
you
at
so you
six
need
nine,
like
he's great.
PJ Tucker.
Yeah,
Like
or yeah, a guy like that, I guess. I don't think you need a PJ Tucker, but like a guy
I
like that.
But my point is that the reason that PJ Tucker bounced from championship team to championship team for like 5 years, like every single team was like, oh, this is the missing piece, is because there's literally like one PJ Tucker. Like it's
Yeah,
really
that's
hard to
fair.
find
That's
a
fair.
power forward who doesn't need the ball in his hands, who can space and is also physical enough to get in and defend and defensive rebound. PJ Tucker is like it, like a
Yeah,
Josh
that's
Hart, like
fair. That's fair.
um and so for me, I would first of all, I think Brandon Ingram's lankiness will help him on the defensive glass at power forward. Um, he's just so tall and got those huge arms.
Yeah.
But then like if you did what the Knicks did in 2013 and had Tyson Chandler at center, like that's an ideal 4+1 next to Brandon Ingram. You have someone who can just vacuum rebounds, box people out. Um, or you could go the other way and you could just play Zion at center and say fuck defense, like and you could just go all in on crazy offense. That's interesting to me.
I don't think they'd ever do that. I would love to see it because
It'd
it's
be
not my
awesome to
team,
watch.
so fuck it. Like we'll see how
Yeah.
it goes.
No, I mean, you're right. We'll never see it. The coaches are just too like, oh my God. Can you imagine like Tibbs trying to coach that team? That'd be the funniest thing ever. Like him just losing his mind every single defensive possession.